You know, one of the things that I really like about my sliding door here is I can sit in the kitchen, read the paper, and take in the view at the same time. However, at night, I get the feeling sometimes that we're the ones that are the view, that we're actually on stage in here, and people walking by on the outside can look right in and see what's going on. So, my wife and I have decided we really got to do something to give us some privacy. Now, we thought about putting up a shade or a mini blind, but you know, I've got 2 children and 2 dogs, and I thought that they would probably take their toll on them. Plus, every time I want to go in or out, I've got to raise and lower them. So, what I've decided to do instead is to replace these doors with ones that have the window treatments actually inside the glass.
In order to prevent damage to the surrounding wall, I'm using a utility knife to cut through the paint and caulk around the edges of the door casing. This will help prevent damage to the surrounding wall. Then I drive a putty knife into the seam and pull the casing away just enough to insert a pry bar and work the molding free. By taking off this strip at the top of the frame, I can remove the sliding door. In fact, anything I can take out of the frame now means less weight to handle when it comes time for removal. On the outside, I remove the screen, then cut through the caulk at the edges of the exterior trim.
Well, I have an interesting problem, or maybe I should say challenge right here. I want to remove this piece of wood trim, but I can't get a pry bar behind it. It's kind of set in behind the siding or shingles on this side and the door frame over here. So what I want to do is locate the nails, the face nails right here, and to do that, I'm not going to use this, but I'm going to use this. It's actually a magnet. I'll put it here on the casing, or the trim, move it around, and up, there you go. So I know that right behind this is where that nail is, and that's where I'll start my digging.
This terrific tool, called a tiger's paw, has sharp tines that burrow into the wood and grip the shaft of a nail. As the opposite end of the tool is pushed downward, the buried nail is pulled to the surface. It can then be removed with a flat bar or hammer. With the nails out of the way, the wood trim pries off easily. I find a few nails through this plastic fin, of which the tiger's paw makes short work. Now, sliding doors are installed different ways. The trick is to find all the screws and nails securing it to the framing. In my case, the frame is attached on the left side and along the top. I pull off the sill support just to be sure there aren't any screws through the bottom. Next, I take out the fixed door panel, and sure enough, there are more screws down the right side of the frame. With everything removed, I try to tap the frame free. Now, try is the operative word here. After a lot of hammering, I finally discover one last screw hidden up inside the latch plate. Finally, the frame gives up its grip.
Well, the old door is out. Now, your door might come out differently. A couple of things to keep in mind. Be patient and look for any hidden fasteners, screws or nails, because even one of them can keep the frame from coming out easily. Now, I have to do a few things to prepare this rough opening for the new door. And the first one is to make sure that the sill down here is level and that the sides are plumb. Good. And excellent.
After measuring the opening, I find that it's just a bit too large for the new door. So I nail on strips of plywood to reduce it to the correct size. The next step in preparing the opening is making it absolutely watertight. This foil tape has a butyl rubber adhesive backing. I press the tape firmly in place, making sure to run it at least 6 inches up the jamb. At the corners, I make 2 small cuts. Then fold the tape over the edges. I put down a second strip on the threshold, then apply it along the entire opening, again making sure to wrap it around the corners. I put back the sill support I removed earlier and nail it in place. On top of the foil tape, I put down 3 beads of silicone that will form a weather-tight seal at the bottom of the door sill. The new door has metal fins that need to be bent outward so that they are at right angles to the frame.
Well, I'd say it's time to put this door in. Now, important thing is that I want to put the bottom of the door in first and then tilt it up so that I don't disturb these beads of caulk down here.
Now, even though the sliding panel has been removed, this door is heavy. So I've asked my friend Jeff to give me a hand lifting it into place. Driving a couple of roofing nails through the fin holds the door in position temporarily. Inside, I check the sill for level and the jambs for plumb. Then begin shimming the door to hold it securely in place. Next, I run 2 screws through the latch side of the frame, through the shims, and into solid wood. Then go back outside to put the rest of the nails in the metal fin. Before I put screws through the sill, I fill the holes with silicone to make certain there will be no leaks around the fasteners. Finally, I drive in screws at the top.
Well, that door's not going anywhere.
Outside, I place one final layer of butyl-backed aluminum tape on top of the nailing fin. Then Jeff and I lift the sliding door onto the track and test it out. Next, I install the exterior wood trim, first on top, then on the sides. I've cut the trim narrow enough to leave an expansion gap between the trim and the frame. Into that gap, I first press foam backer rod. Then fill the remaining space with silicone sealant. If the wood trim expands during humid weather, the backer rod and sealant will compress, preventing the expanding wood from deforming the door frame. Back inside, I trim the shims and begin filling the space around the frame with low expansion insulating foam. It's important not to use high expansion foam that could distort the frame and cause the door to bind. Well, day has turned into evening, but before I call a halt to things, I want to install the interior door casing. Tomorrow, it's all about the decorative touches. Bright and early the next morning, I grab the door hardware out of the van and put it on. To install the window treatments, I just open the interior glass panel and snap them in place. I've got my choice of mini blinds, shades, and grills.
Now, from the outside, what I like about these doors is that they're aluminum clad, and that means no painting. And on the inside, I just love the fact that the window treatments are between the glass. No cords, they're virtually dust-free, and because the grills themselves are also inside, they're a cinch to clean. Now, if you look through both of these doors, you won't see a screen, and that's because it's right inside here. It rolls out when I want it, and rolls back when I don't. And of course, when it comes to energy efficiency, these windows are state-of-the-art. 2 pieces of glass with argon gas in between for insulation value, and the glass itself has a low E coating on it that'll filter out ultraviolet light and prevent fading on draperies, carpets, and fabrics. But you know what I like best about these? I got exactly what I wanted. I can sit here and enjoy my view when I want to, but if I want my privacy, all I got to do is that.